Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you for bearing with me for a couple of minutes. I'm going to go ahead and activate the recording. Mike, I just want to do a quick mic check. Are you hearing me okay? Do a quick mic check. Get it?
Hey, yep, I can hear you, and it's actually already recording. I think it did it automatically. So,
Well, good. That saves me a step. Well, thanks everybody for joining. And again, thank you for taking a couple of minutes. I had sort of an emergency phone call I had to take. Everything's okay. So what we're here to do today is to take what we're here to do today is to take a look at some new functionality that we have added to um, Galileo in the last little bit here. You're going to see me working on a science project document, and that is embedded Bento searches. So you all have probably noticed or used before the embedded Galileo search, and that's still available. But we wanted to really expand and make it so that you could take a Bento search and really run with that Bento search and put it on your website, embedded in LibGuides, as I've done here. You see I have embedded a scholarly article search just here for my opening slide. Embed it on your library website, embed it in a learning management system, embed a search wherever it makes sense for your users to have it. So we've done some work on that. I think we've done some good work. We have some work that we're continuing to work on with it that I'll mention as well. And we'll cover all of that here today in our now 25 minutes that we have together. Also, I will go back as much as I can. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but we will do just a quick review of some of the other Bento functionality that we've added along the way. So I will be working mostly from my PowerPoint slides, but just as a matter of housekeeping here, I will share with you all the slides that I have. If I don't cover something that I intended to originally, it will be on the slide as just kind of a placeholder for that functionality. Also, I will be recording the session and making that available. It usually takes me a couple of days to get to it, edit it, make sure that everything's good to go with the recording and get it up in YouTube. And I will be sharing that with you all and also putting it on the Galileo training LibGuide as well so that you can access it there if you like. So I'm going to go ahead and launch on into Galileo here. I'm going to go to a Galileo homepage. I'm currently logged in as Hall County Public Library. I was working in Hall County yesterday. I just decided I would keep right on working in Hall County today. So I was helping them out with some things and doing some work there. So why not just stick with Hall County? So this is functionality that we've added so that it can be very easily accessed and again integrated into your website here. So if you're wanting to go in and embed a Bento search, you go down. This is one thing I really want to emphasize today as well is our tools area. I look for our tools area to eventually be to evolve and to be something more robust and to be something that's a little bit more accessible on the page. Right now, it kind of lives in the lower right-hand corner of the Galileo portal page. And you can go in and right now, there is still the functionality embedding a Galileo search box. We're not taking that away. This is a similar functionality, but different. This is searching all of Galileo, and you can search Bento or Classic Search, but this is searching everything. What we've created now, though, is the ability to embed individual Bento. So if you wanted to add a scholarly articles Bento, an ebooks Bento to your website, you now have the ability to do that. So for now, that functionality is going to live in the shareable links area. Let me go ahead and click on shareable links here and wait. Don't know why. Of course, it's going to take forever since I'm in a training session. Yeah. While I'm waiting for this page to render, I will say that Mike has joined us, as you have seen already. If you have any questions while I'm demoing especially, do let Mike know in the chat, and Mike will make sure that I answer questions as we go through the material today. And as I am generally not able to see the chat very well when I'm doing live demo here. Okay, great. Seems like best laid plans here. Page and see if there's anything going on there. Mike, are you still hearing me? Is my network working?
yeah, I can hear you.
What's going on with Galileo right now? It's not reloading my page either. Let's try. See what happens when I try to log out. That's just sticking on me. Well, that's why I make slides, right? We'll give it another second or two. Well, it did go ahead and log me out. Let me see if I can log back in here. Seems to me to be waking up now. Okay, just let me right back in. Okay. I'm going to go on down back to the tools area, back to the shareable links area. And just to point out to you, shareable link functionality, this is something I like to make sure that everyone is aware of as well. I'm in a public library, so I have shareable links to all the different public libraries views. So if you are managing a kids site at your public library or a school media site, and you want to make sure that you have a link to just the elementary view where we have elementary content and elementary search functionality, those links are available here. Anytime you want to capture something that's in the shareable links area, you just click on the shareable link info, and then you can copy it. And you see that we have the also shareable links to all databases list, your A to Z lists for each view. And so the A to Z database list with everything on it, if you wanted to say capture the database's A to Z list for your full view. The nice thing about the database's A to Z lists is they do appear even if you are not logged into Galileo. What will happen is if you use this A to Z list on your library website, once you click on an item, that's when it will prompt the user to authenticate. So those do show up even if a user isn't authenticated. I noticed a couple of libraries recently, University of North Georgia, I noticed recently was using this for using their full view for A to Z. So now we have shareable links to public library Bento search pages. And again, we're in public library, which has the elementary, middle, and high school view. Notice that you can capture any of the bentos on an individual view. I'll just kind of focus here on full view here. So if I wanted to integrate a bento search for scholarly articles or encyclopedias or ebooks, I'll do ebooks onto my full view page. Notice that I can copy the link. This is just a static link that will go directly to that particular view. If you're on site, it will take you right on in. If you're off campus or outside of your library, it'll prompt you for a login. And then just like any other express link. And then here in the code area here, this is the code, which is a combination of HTML and JavaScript that will fuel the embedded bento search. So you can just copy that code, and then you can take it into your guide, your WYSIWYG editor, your HTML page, your libguides, and integrate that code into your website. And I have a couple of examples of that here. So let me go ahead and close this. So let me go ahead, I didn't copy it. Let me go ahead and copy the ebooks code just for exemplification purposes. I actually have the backside, the back end of libguides open here, and you can see this is me playing around, and I've integrated a number of different bento searches into this particular guide. If I wanted to integrate another bento tab here in the libguide, I can just go ahead and do bento books 2. Go ahead and create that tab, save that position, close here, and then I have another place where I can add a bento search. I don't know why there's one already there. No, it's not the one. Oh, there's the one I'm adding. And then in libguides, I simply just add this as media widget, and I can name it. And then I just simply copy that code right in. I choose my position if I want, and then save it, and then it's there and available to me in libguides. And then I can go just to quickly show you. If I click on this, it's all those different bentos. This is a live view of that libguides page where all of those bento searches are available. I've even got 2 on this one just for fun. You do it any number of ways. Initially, when we did this, and I think the folks at Georgia Highlands were helping me out with this, we had to update the code a little bit so that you get unique code each time that you pull a bento, a set of bento code, so that there will be no clashing. So there is no clashing here. You'll have a nice, clean code that's unique each time you pull it, so that you don't have any overlap or weirdness with your JavaScript code interfering and causing boxes not to work. We had a little issue with that early on, but we got that fixed thanks to the development team and Brad, who did some great work with that. So that is integrating it into a website. Now, I'll just simply show you that this is also, I mean, just for exemplification purposes here, take this out of the way a little bit. I just captured, this is the simplest HTML code in the history of the universe, as you can say. But if you're working in HTML, just to show you, Russell can do it. I've forgotten almost every possible element of HTML code, having worked in libguides and other what you see is what you get editors over the years. But as you can see here, this is just a basic HTML page with a header. It's a very poor header. I didn't even do a header. I just bolded that. I didn't align it. I didn't center it. I can't remember how to do all those things anymore. I've forgotten. But then it just pulls in the code. I have a little page break there, and then I end my HTML page. And actually, this is not the actual code, but I saved that in Notepad and opened it as a file in my browser. And you can see that HTML code is now running successfully that search. So I'm going to go ahead and search here. I don't know what institution I have this particular code, but we're going to go back and search just to tell you too, if once I've embedded a Bento, what happens if a user is on site? Obviously, they get right in. If they're already logged in, they get right into the search. If they are off campus, off site, outside the library, the first time they search, it's going to prompt them to log in before they see their search results, just to get the workflow on that from an authentication perspective. You all know I obsess on authentication here. But let me go, I'll go into this page. It's probably going to, may well prompt me. This actually is a Digital Library of Georgia page, and this lets me make a point too. But I'll go to the scholarly articles, and I don't know, I've searched the Decameron recently because the Netflix series. Yeah, I'm already logged in here to Hall County, and it's searching Hall County for me. And you see it takes me straight into the Bento search. And at that point, I can go ahead and apply filters and do all the other things I can do in the individual Bento box search. And I'm fully engaged in a Galileo environment now at this point. So it's just a way to kind of bridge that gap, make it easier for users. They can see a visual search there and actually engage with the search without having to click on a link now and follow it. So it's pretty straightforward functionality, but pretty good functionality in terms of the ability to share these searches on your website and in your libguides and other places. So that is it. Again, a very basic. I'm going to cover some other things. Didn't want to give you 30 minutes of just that because it's pretty straightforward. But I'm going to take a pause here and see if there are any questions so far about the embeddable bentos. Mike, any questions?
Nope, no questions right now.
I'll give a pause. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Just type them into the chat, and I'll share a couple more things about this as well. I went pretty fast because I'm nervous and I've got a late start. So if there are questions, please don't hesitate. All right, well, hearing or seeing no questions, just a couple of other things I wanted to mention along the way here in terms of the Bento environments. Just this is kind of a, in case you missed it, types of things with Bento search. I think just again to point out, once you run a Bento search, come on to camera and search again just because it's there. Just a reminder that all of the Bento boxes now have filters. And those parallel, if I'm in scholarly articles, for example, the filters are going to parallel for me what's available in the EBSCO Discovery Service in the standard Galileo Classic search. So I'll go ahead and click on scholarly articles here just to show you. We saw this a moment ago when I was looking at the scholarly articles Bento for the same search, but all of this functionality is here now. I think a lot of the limitation of the Bento search early on when we first released it was, well, hey, I can't filter this. Well, you absolutely can now, and I find it to be very powerful to be able to now not only embed the search but also filter in the search once I run my first search here. So that ability is there. Going back here, the other thing that we have added and spent a great deal of time on is Bento customization, and I think this has a lot of potential power here too. Before I dig into just briefly Bento customization, I also wanted to show, you know, as I mentioned earlier, we saw that currently this Bento embedded Bento box functionality lives inside of that tools area in the shareable links area. Our long-term plan, we're looking at the best possible ways to share that. Ultimately, we hope that we can provide an easy way to share the embedded search code here in the actual box so that it's a little bit easier to capture. Obviously, now you can capture a permalink to either that exact search or the scholarly articles Bento search. What we hope to be able to do in the long term is make it so that you can capture everything you might need, whether it be a permalink to that search, a permalink to that type of search, or the code for embed in one place so that you're not having to go to two places. This was something we did early on as a proof of concept. It's actually pretty challenging coding, and the team has long-term plans to make that a lot more accessible here in this space. So know that that is coming and something that we're planning to do. So I say that to transition to the whole concept of Bento customization. And if you haven't seen us navigate Bento customization before, what we've added here is the ability for users to add and subtract bentos from their own bento searching. So anybody can do this. This is not staff side functionality. This is not functionality that runs in Galileo admin. This is very straightforward functionality that runs right here in the Galileo portal. So if I can go here to the gear button sort of starts it all. This is where I can begin to customize my bento searching. So if I'm a student, I'm here, I search for information about the Decameron. I didn't like I don't need databases. I don't need journals. I want the scholarly articles. I want encyclopedia articles. I want ebooks. Maybe I want print materials. I don't want news. I don't want magazines. I might like primary resources. I don't want Digital Library of Georgia. There's nothing in there about consumer reports. So if I want to limit down kind of the number of boxes that I'm looking at and add just the boxes that are most relevant to me, I can subtract those boxes and move things around. If I'm most interested now, if I think as I'm doing my research project, well, hey, ebooks are going to be the most relevant thing for me. I really need five. I need 5 book resources for this. I need 5 scholarly articles. But hey, this encyclopedia background is going to be really important. So we'll put it second here in the mix. Print materials, I don't like to go up in the library stack, so I'll probably look at that last. So I'm moving it to the end. So I've added a rearrangement here. I've subtracted some bentos and then I've rearranged them. If I were done at this point, I'd go ahead and click done and it would save that view for me. More about the how the view works in a moment in terms of saving and access in the long term. If you want to come back to this view, if you don't want to keep recreating it. But now I also have some options here in the more options. I'll start with adding bentos. So we don't add every bento to every page. Not every bento is a default bento. We create bentos that you all may take off, logically so, for certain views. And so that's perfectly fine. As Galileo administrators, you may do that. So if I wanted to add back here, I wanted to add materials. Hey, maybe there was a great conference and they talked about the Decameron at length. So I'll add conference papers. Well, maybe somebody wrote a good dissertation. I can also see someone, hey, I'm taking dissertations out because I don't really care to have that. And there's 0 results anyway. It looks like I might have misspelled Decameron. Maybe there's research starters about this. I don't know, doubt it, but there could be. So I'll add those 3. So as you can see now, I've added bentos as well. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and click done. And now I have this new view. Actually, there are 2 research starters. And so that has reconfigured the bento to make it a lot cleaner for me as an individual user, to be more relevant to me as an individual user. But also keep this in mind on the librarian side of things, because there may be ways that you can use these views to serve your researchers as they're working on different research projects. Or if you're perhaps working in the public library space and you want to limit things down, you might want to do, for example, a consumer information bento where you have consumer reports and you could actually add a database for some of the consumer consumer health databases that are available. So you could do that as well. There's ways that you could add more content yourself on the Galileo admin side. But just showing you the example here. But you can share this. So if I'm a librarian and I want to share this with users, I can do that just by going to the more options and going to the permalink to this layout. I'll click that option and I can get a permalink to this exact bento order or a permanent link to the search results. So two things with this. You're showing your end users how to use this functionality, and they want to be 100% assured that they're always going to have access to this functionality. It's as simple as saving the permanent link to their bento order or to their search, whatever they want to do with that. That said, it does save it. It does save their bento order as a cookie in their browser. I joke that, well, hey, until some Galileo staff member tells them to clear their cache and cookies, it'll be just fine. But they can copy a link to it. It will hold in their cookies, but it will stay there for as long as the cookie stays there. But if they clear their cache and cookies, they may want to make sure that they have that permanent link to that bento order that they can create. Otherwise, they might have to recreate it. We also, just in terms of the reference librarian functionality with this, we totally saw the scenario where, hey, I'm trying to work with a student online. We're trying to communicate about via email about what's going on. They're using a customized bento view. I am not. Well, obviously they can share the permalink to their bento view, and then you're both on the same page. But there's also a restore defaults option. If your user just said, "Oh, hey, I'm having problems with this," they've saved that view. They've copied the permalink. They can just restore the default bentos and they're back in business and on the same page as you. So that is an option there with the default bento views. And I showed that to say one of the things that we want to do is perhaps come up with a way to make this type of thing embeddable as well. That's a little bit more ambitious in terms of our coding perspective on that, but it is something that we would like to in the long term do. So go ahead. Questions?
Yep. Yeah, there's been a couple questions.
Awesome. Great.
The first one is from Samantha, and she says, "Excuse this ignorant question. It's not an ignorant question, Samantha. But what is a libguide? I work for a public library, and our website platform is Revise. Am I able to embed a bento box outside of libguide?"
So that's a great question, because libguides so I show libguides because it is very commonly used in the academic library space, and there actually are some public libraries that have it. For example, Live Oak Public has it. So it is a commonplace where our Galileo members do embed things like this. To your point, that's a great question, because I do want to point out that you should be able to embed this anywhere you can embed HTML. But I do have a slide specific to this, and I will go ahead and just take you to that, because I want to make sure that you're all aware of this. This is all just the functionality that I've just covered. Sorry. Technical notes. This is my my message just for you. If a searcher is outside the library off campus, I mentioned this already, they'll be prompted to log in before they see their search results. I mentioned that a couple times, but just wanted to mention this. Occasionally, embed code may need slight changes in some web editors or learning management system environments. Exactly what you're talking about here. If you have any issues, just contact us. But to your point, and that's, again, an excellent question, try it. If it does not work, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to take a look at what's going on there and why it isn't working. But in theory, you should be able to embed this. It's HTML and JavaScript. We have seen a few occasions where, for whatever reason, the web editor did not like the iframe which is used, or they did not, as part of the code, or did not like how the JavaScript was used, and we've been able to, I think in all cases, find an alternative code that we could share to that library or that environment, so that they can make that work. But to shortly answer your question, again, great question, should work. If it doesn't, let us know.
Yeah, thanks, Russell. And the second question we had was from Angela, and she asked, and this is referring to the standalone bento box search, does the permalink keep filter settings for the search?
Yes. So if you've added, that's a great question too. So if I go here and I go into the scholarly articles search, and I apply a bunch of filters, you'll actually see it'll start to come into the URL at the top. So absolutely, it captures it and keeps it.
But
So if you, yeah.
But I don't know if it captures it if you click on permalink and it gives you that link. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't remember.
But to that point though, this is a good thing to know. I don't think it. I don't. No, it does actually. There it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
it does.
So, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I couldn't
Good
remember
question.
honestly.
I couldn't either. So that's another great question. Thank you for keeping on our technical P's and Q's. Yes, that's the other great thing about this is you can always capture these things from the. I know sometimes it's always a struggle. We tell you sometimes, oh, don't ever capture it from the URL bar, but then sometimes we turn around and say, oh yeah, you can capture it from the URL bar. So there you go. You can do either, and it will get your limiters that you've applied. Well, great questions there. Any other questions, Mike?
None. No other questions right now.
Well, I have covered everything I want to. We have about a minute left. If you have any other questions, or if you have ideas or ways that we might use this, you don't necessarily have to share that now in the limited time we have left, although you're welcome to. But don't hesitate to contact us. Send us a Galileo support form, and we'll be glad to look at new ways that we might do this. I mean, sometimes we get great ideas from these meetings. I'm going to put my email address. If you have a question after the fact, you're welcome to contact me directly. If you have ideas about how we might better do this, we're always happy to work with you all and to think about new ways that we can integrate these features and functionalities across different platforms. With that said, I am all done. Again, we'll hold a couple of minutes for any additional questions that come in. Thank you all for your attendance, for taking the time to learn a little bit more about us today and what we're up to. And we look forward to seeing you in Galileo training sessions too. Again, I'm here for another couple of minutes. Thank you all.